You're listening to The Authenticity Show, where you get to eavesdrop on great conversations about health, creativity, and the quest for excellence. Your hosts are Carlos Casados and Satch Purcell. Our guest today is James Wanless. Now, James Wanless has so far lived a long and extremely interesting life. One of the things he's famous for is the Voyager Tarot deck, which he created. And we're going to talk with him about this and draw some cards and kind of get into this thing tonight. It's a really fun conversation. We had a great time with James. Fantastic human and a real pleasure to have at my house. And you're going to love this conversation. Whether you're into tarot or not, just trust me, give this one a chance. All right, here we go.
So Satch and I are here with two shuffled Voyager decks, and they're shuffled and they're placed on Oliver's table. And between us is a man named James Wanless, who's the creator of this deck. So where do we go from here? What do we do from here?
Well, thank you for inviting me, number one, you guys. This is fun.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Fundamentalist.
A fundamentalist.
Yeah.
That we are. And this is Voyager Tarot. It's not just another deck. It's actually a little bit of background about Voyager. It's a deck that I created in the early 80s. And it was meant to be a deck for the 21st century. Hence, it's very multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-dimensional. And it's collage. It's cut and paste art from great magazines. And so it's a mix of all these rich symbols from all over the world that are some very ancient, some very contemporary. A lot of people, well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but some people don't like it because it's too much.
Too much what?
It's too much going on, and they can't kind of find the center of the card sometimes. Well, welcome to the 21st century world, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
We're swimming in that.
It's very appropriate.
I mean, just look out on the street here, you know. But I changed a lot of the names in Voyager from the old classic names, which are pretty medievalian. Mm-hmm. Is that medieval?
Medieval.
Yeah.
Medieval.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
And if you look at the classic decks, they have a suit of swords, for example, swords and blood, and I just find that repulsive. Maybe I had a past life. I got sliced and diced in some kind of crusade. So I have not, and I had been doing tarot. I learned it in the late 70s in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and I learned on the classic old tarot, but I wanted to make a deck that was really right for the times. And I, as much as I love the tarot, they're old, and they're old roadmaps. And you try and follow some of the old roads today, and you don't go very far, because they're old. So I tried to make this Voyager is a roadmap, but an up-to-date roadmap, and so hence. Instead of swords, for example, which represents, let's say, the mind in the old tarot, in Voyager, it's the crystals, the crystal mind that we have, this multifaceted, bright thing, hopefully. And so I made quite a few differences. And in old tarot, by the way, they have court cards, king and queen, prince, princess, knight, stuff like that. I said off with their heads. I mean, that's old. It's really old. And it's not a lot of countries still have monarchies. Some do, obviously, but it's not where it's at. So they had to go. So instead of the royalty, they're the human family. The family, which, again, I tried to make Voyager really universal to the planet. And if you look at old tarot, it's all white people.
Yeah,
and it's white people riding around on horses and swords and stuff.
It's very European.
Yeah. It's so European, which, I mean, I love it. I mean, it's a great genre, and it has served its purpose, although I think a lot of the purpose of the tarot has been really debased, and it becomes this incredibly kind of silly fortune-telling thing.
What is the purpose of tarot?
Well, it is a roadmap. Okay. Some people call the ancient word tarot as the royal road. the royal road, to live a very kingly life, I suppose, or queenly life. But I treat it totally as a roadmap, and if you want to be successful in life and live your visions and dreams, pick a card. And the card will show you, it's a map, will show you how to be successful or be happy or healthy or whatever it might be, because it's a map of us. It's a super psychology. It's really about us. It's 78 cards representing 78 aspects of all of us, to be the whole human that you can possibly be. So it's very much a very proactive, what I call fortune creation tool, not fortune telling, not prediction fiction. I like that one. Fortune creation. But to get to create it, we need a map, a formula, and that's what the cards are. It's this map on how to do that.
I like the way you describe this. It's almost like it implies that to use these cards is really a collaboration. You're sort of collaborating with yourself to, have an artistic view of your life and your future.
Well, the cards are simply a tool for self-reflection. It's like looking into the pool or the mirror. And actually, if you look at the backside of Voyager, as you're looking at it right now, that's DNA. That's our
is that what that is?
genetic human chromosome.
That's beautiful.
So,
it's gorgeous.
But what's cool about that DNA core is, to the human eye, without microscopes and all that, that is the very same pattern on every living life form on Earth. Exactly that. Hence, we are related to all that lives, and we are family. And
we are stars.
And when you look at Voyager, you're going to see a lot of animals and minerals and plants and all this stuff, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to think that or believe that, but we are nature. We're even animals. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As one of our guests said in a previous episode, our first pet is our body.
The first pet.
Our first pet.
Wow.
Speaking of animals and being animals.
Oh, yeah. I have a mythic magazine I publish, because it's mythic, because it's not out ever. It's
Okay. Okay. So it's not a magazine about mythic stuff. It's It's a mythic magazine.
It's mythic. Make yourself the hero, MYTH.
Nice.
So I'm a publisher of my own magazine, but it's called Humanimal. Humanimal.
Humanimal.
People do not like that. They don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I get no Humanimal. Oh my.
They say, I'm not an animal.
Yeah. Well, get over it. You are. Too, And then so I actually have a deck in print I brought with me of white squirrel cards, because they're very rare and they're found in North Carolina. Oh. And I went there and I fell in love with these white squirrels if I could find them, and I went crazy and became a white squirrel myself, and then made these cards. But I have an online deck that's Happy Dog, and another deck called Exceptional Rooster. But I'm known for Voyager.
Yeah.
I'm called Captain Voyager.
Captain Voyager.
Captain Voyager.
I like it.
And I even look like
Yeah, I was going to say Picard. You look a little bit
Captain
like Picard.
Pick a card.
Pick a card.
Pick a
There
card.
you go.
Oh,
I like
there it is.
it.
Captain, pick a card. There it is.
great.
That's great.
Earl Grey.
I live in L.A. and I saw him once walking. I think it was in the valley or whatever, and he comes along the sidewalk the other way. I said, "Oh my God, there's pick a card." I mean, I'm Picard.
Yeah.
whatever I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's like so many actors. He's so small.
Really?
So short.
Wow.
He's like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
They're all like 5'8".
Well, how tall are you? You're pretty tall
I'm
yourself.
6'10". No, I'm not. 6'1". I'm nothing too special, but I'm not little. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But anyway, so here we are looking at the Voyager DNA, and
Yeah.
now you guys, this is a brand new deck.
Brand new deck.
Yes.
You just gifted us two beautiful decks.
Yeah, I did, and that's a cool gift, I think. Because it's again, it's you. And
Yeah.
it's you becoming more of you. What it's
Yeah.
about. So the first thing I like to do, and we could do this tonight, I think.
Yeah, let's proceed.
Is first of all, you've shuffled the cards, because actually, if you hadn't shuffled them, I would probably know where every card was in that deck without
Right.
even looking.
Oh,
Right.
Because
okay.
it's in order according to the four suits of cards, and it's like playing cards. It's in order. So you did a good job shuffling. Now, but whenever you pick a card, the idea is, what's the idea? Meaning, what's your intention for picking the card? What's the question?
What's the question?
So I'm going to give you a question. And the question is, for the first card you're picking from this new deck, how will Voyager reward me? What will be the benefit of using these cards? What's going to come to me through using the cards? And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are willing? So now, when you pick cards, you can go into bookstores and read all sorts of books about how to shuffle and place the cards and do everything and all this mojo and rah, 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 and that's all fine. And I always say, just do it your way. I don't care how you shuffle, just shuffle it. I mean, I'm looking down here on the floor, and here we have...
We have Oliver here. Yeah,
Oliver just read them. I love that. That's very cool. But the key is when you pick a card. Now, you can look at the cards, and you can... I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen people smell the cards and, and all sorts of
The sniff
things.
test.
But I am a real believer in touch. So when I pick a card, I feel them. I close my eyes. I just want to... Which is a card that feels right or feels hot or feels whatever to you, but it's a feeling that, that's the card.
Okay.
But that's a totally intuitive thing. And in today's world, with so much mystery and unknown and uncertainty, we have to trust our intuition. We have to trust our senses and our sixth sense and be blind and not know for sure and, and just go for it in the mystery. And people don't like to do that these days. They want to know everything, in advance.
Yeah.
Trust your hands.
I like
Let
it.
your hands do the walking and the talking.
Your hands take up a lot of brain matter.
Oh, I mean, and I have one of the suits in Voyager is the Wands card, which is the suit of fire and light and spiritual consciousness and awareness, enlightenment and all that. It's fire, it's light. But each of those, a Wands card has a hand in it, because I think the magic a lot of times is right here in our hands. So just shuffling the cards and picking the cards is such a tremendous symbolic act to take. It indicates you're trusting. You're trusting your hands. You're trusting your sense, your intuition in the mystery.
It's one of the things, one of the key instructions for going lucid when you dream.
Oh.
And having a dream-induced out-of-body experience is look for your hands. Find your hands in your dream.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's one of the keys.
It must be some kind of a biofeedback kind of thing that
makes sense.
Can remind you that, hey, I'm dreaming. I can take control. I can become lucid now. So finding your hands is one of the primary hacks for going lucid.
For going lucid.
Yeah, in your dreams.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, isn't that
Very
cool?
nice.
That
Yeah.
is find your hands.
Well, it makes a lot
So
of sense.
find your hands tonight,
though.
Go to bed just with that intention. I'm going to find my hands.
Yeah, and what's more human than hands?
Yeah.
I mean, we have the most advanced hands
Oh, by far.
on the planet.
We do.
Oh, my gosh.
That's why we stand so we can use our hands.
That's why cats still need us.
They need us.
Okay, so are you ready to pick your card?
I would love to.
Okay, what Voyager will bring you by using the cards. One card, feel it, feel it, feel it. What did you get there, Carlos?
7 of Cups, which is fear.
Okay, so you got the 7. Now, that has meaning in the tarot. Cups is the suit of the heart, emotions, and it's fear. Okay, next.
I'm going to learn about fear from the tarot.
Well, so it might bring up some fears. Fine, that's cool. But when we read the cards, we make sense out of them. But a lot of people will not touch the cards because they're so fearful of oh my God, I don't want to get the death card. What if I get the devil card or something like that? It's only paper.
Right. It's like when
only paper.
Yeah, when
Get
they
over it.
I was going to ask, when they make the cards, where exactly do they insert the demon? Right, because I know there's a lot of people that
Right. The Christians a lot of times think, if I tell people what I do, I'm the devil or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a rough one. But it is information.
Yeah.
And you can do what you want with the information. So I'm looking at you, Carlos, and you're a successful person, a bright person, and courageous person, right? And so I would read that fear as the cards help you get through fear. Get through fear. Not bring on fear. Maybe get you in touch with some fears and anxieties, but ultimately give you power. But anyway, so Cups is a suit of heart, emotions. So getting in touch with some of your emotions, anxieties, and stuff like that, which is good. The whole idea is to see the truth and embrace the shadow side.
Yeah.
The shadow. The shadow,
Shadow knows.
Yeah. Was that a radio? What was that?
It was an old radio show from...
But you're not old enough to know
But
that.
I did listen to the recordings.
Why? I mean,
I was fascinated with older stuff when I was a kid.
Really?
So read black and white movies and radio shows and
Wow. That's so interesting. Well, anyway, back to your fear.
yeah. Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of night?
I love that. Okay,
Shadows.
but cups is emotions. The
Yeah.
heart cup. When my cup runneth over, I'm full of love. When my cups are broken and devastated and dried up, that's something emotionally has gone wrong. Okay. Now, Satch, you got another cups card.
I did. Yeah.
Which is the Man of Cups.
Yes.
Again, cups is emotions. Man of Cups in Old Tarot would be a knight on a horse.
Okay.
But if you look at this one, it's called the Surfer at the top. But notice the horse. That's a horse, but it's a drinking flagon looking like a surfboard. But I love that horse imagery there in the water surfing this big wave.
Yeah.
But the surfer, Man of Cups, surfers go out in the ocean. They go out in big waves. There might be white sharks out there. There's coral reefs. There's stuff. It's dangerous a lot of time. So surfer is very adventurous. So this maybe Voyager gives you a greater sense of life as adventure. And I am riding the wave of life and learning how to stay in balance with that so I don't fall off and, screw myself and everything else that could happen surfing. Did we want to look at your card? Yeah.
Can I borrow your mic for a second?
Yeah.
Hey, Oliver Altine here. I'm the show's producer, but I'm jumping in here because I picked the card. But let me tell you what happened.
Oh.
I had the deck spread out all over the rug here, and I was just sort of shuffling it that way. And so I gathered all the cards up together in a deck after I'd finished, moving them all around and shuffling them. And then I noticed behind me there was one more card.
Literally behind you.
It was behind me on the rug, yeah.
Right.
And so I was like, well, that must be the card. And it is Trump number 11.
Trump meaning we will have to watch out for that word these days.
This is not a political card.
Yeah.
No, Trump card number 11, which is strength.
Right. In formal tarot, we probably call it the major arcana. Arcana meaning secrets.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy. But it's a Leo card, strength. So Voyager with that card would suggest you get empowered by the cards, by the deck, by the imagery. You get stronger.
I'm seeing like some lions and like a Egyptian pharaoh holding up what looks like a red potato and like a hand with a butterfly on it and like a big lion and these red like curtains flapping all over the place. And there's a lot of imagery on here, man.
Well, all these cards, I don't think there's any other deck out there that has as much imagery as Voyager does.
Now, did you put the images together yourself? I mean, you created this deck.
Yes, I created the deck with my artist friend Ken Knutson, who was an oil painter, California plein air oil painting. And one day, over the influence of caffeine, which is a really powerful drug.
Very powerful.
Have you ever seen spiders on drugs?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Amazing.
The caffeine
Yeah.
one is the worst. That's
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
But anyway, so in that state of caffeinated brain, I asked Ken, I said, he'd been wanting to do a collage project, cut and paste out of magazines. This is before Photoshop. This is before digital. And I said, okay, cool, let's make the magician. Number one card in the tarot. And he said, who's that? I mean, he knew nothing about the cards. Perfect. I used to do retreats in Hawaii. Every year I do a retreat. It was always expressive tarot, expressive Voyager expression. Because we're not going to sit around in Hawaii and get mental inside a room. That's crazy. We're in Hawaii, So we'd go out and become the cards, which was really very cool.
So you'd embody the card you were creating that day?
Yeah. And then
How did you do that?
Well, I work with my expression coach, Wowza, and we partnered together, so it was easy. She could get, but the major thing, the way we would start, we'd warm up, we'd breathe and do sound and whatever, do stuff, dance and things. We'd start with the word on the card. For example, surfer, and everybody got to get jacked up.
You'd be feeling each syllable of the word.
Yes, each syllable, each vowel.
Okay.
Especially the vowels. You got to move your vowels. And that's kind of and then we could go outside. We could go to the volcano, the real volcano that was going off there, and all that. You could be noisy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It was like drama therapy in a way.
It's absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there a drama therapy?
There is.
There should be.
There is. No, it's a legit like
I
study.
love that.
Yeah.
Because all those games they play are so insightful.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're
and they get you out of your
transformative.
old social character.
See, you were in a sense using theatrical and hypnotic methodology, right? You were using a lot of techniques to kind of silence your external chatter and get yourself totally focused in on the symbolic meaning of the card,
Right.
or each piece, right? And then you kind of stepped into it as if you were a, I don't know, method actor or something.
Yes, exactly. But we would stop them right in the middle of this a lot of times and say, okay, what's the insight that you get now about this card, rather than using a book, rather than just sitting and meditating even. Let's just see what is the kinesthetic you, the expressive you, the sound you, and all that has to say about the meaning of these cards. And that is tremendous.
It's like you're just working with opening your intuition all the time.
Oh, totally. It's all intuition.
Yeah.
It's all intuition. It should be. After you look at the words, then we go to kind of the right brain, which is you just pick an image. But there's so much imagery in Voyager. Why don't you all of us, just pick one picture in your card that attracts your eye? And it's not a brain game or anything. It's just like, oh, that one sticks out for me for whatever reason or non-reason. I don't really care.
Sure. So for me, it's clearly that flower. The flower is the centerpiece to me of this picture.
Right. And so remember, cards are reflections of you. At some level, we're all flowers and flowering and so on, really. But this flower, it's so beautiful and open. So using Voyager, what does your intuition say that it would help you flower in some way?
Sure, yeah. To grow, to unfold.
Absolutely.
To create pleasant aroma. To to go ahead and be beautiful and delicate.
Ooh, to be beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, for a man to say that is not, you don't often hear that,
Yeah.
frankly.
But this is the surfer card, so but I get to be a badass surfer. Right. So yeah.
But that's so beautiful. But so let me ask you, what would you like to grow in you in your life? Where would you like your life to flower and what?
Where would I like my life to flower?
Right.
Well, it's an interesting question. To be honest, it's not easy to answer. I almost need to spend a little time and see what comes of that.
That's fine. Well, let's move over here.
Yeah.
Over here to Carlos.
Yeah.
The fear card. Boy, there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff on there. It was hard to tell what some of it was, but it's just very
the
beautiful.
light is a little
Yeah,
these
and
cards need bright light.
It's a beautifully complex design.
Yes.
So my eye was initially drawn to these squiggly orange kind of long pieces, and then right next to it this stone face, the sort of image of the statue there.
You mean this? Oh, that, yeah. But these pink things, sort of?
Orangey, wispy things going off in the corner right here.
Okay, that's actually a flower. And then this vase with a man on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, this is a fear card. And so that's that man on that vase, depending on the price, of course, is kind of the lurking man. I mean, these are all vases that are closed at the bottom of the ocean in that card. Because when you're afraid, you hunker down and close up, and you become like those cups. Like, oh, I hope nobody notices me, or something like
So
that.
that kind of reminds me a little bit of the sort of murky treasures of the underworld, or of the sea. Like you're talking about
Yes.
it being at the bottom of the sea. It reminds me of like Neptune.
Yes,
The treasures of Neptune,
right.
Deep down,
right. But that man,
subconscious.
Totally. I mean,
you're
the cups are emotion cards, and they can go deep. Obviously, a surfer can be kind of superficial.
Okay.
on top of the water.
Sure, yeah, on top of the water. Yeah.
The water is symbolic of emotions, the ocean of emotion, whereas Carlos' fear card is going into it. Going down into maybe some early traumas or past life traumas and things like that. This really can be therapy.
Right.
You can dredge up some primal ancient fears in you. But when I looked at that man, I mean, because I know this is at the bottom of the ocean. There's this cup, this vase with this man looking at me. And I never felt comfortable about that card. So for me, that's kind of fearful. But you're just looking at it, and I don't know, it's just a guy, I suppose.
Well, I mean, what I do for a living. So it's like, this is not only what I've had to do in my own life, but it's what I do for others.
Yes.
It's the same. It's the microcosm, macrocosm,
Right.
it's inwardly and outwardly focused. And I see personally fear as a stage that has to be transformed or dealt with fully before you get to power. Like power automatically flows in when fear is transformed.
I had a bunch of radiation done for my prostate cancer.
Oh, you did?
I had, I had it, and I don't have it now. But, God, I had to go through 30 straight days of radiation. It's very specific. I mean, it's in the prostate.
Oh, yeah.
But, boy, did that make a difference.
Are you feeling better now, is the thing?
I feel great. Well, I think the major... the radiation is not helpful to your body. I mean, it might kill cancer, but boy, it screws up a lot of other stuff.
It can create some scarring and loss of range of motion.
I don't have any of that. It's just issues I don't want to talk about. But
Sure.
But the real deal for me was what drives prostate cancer in men is testosterone, the male hormone. And so you take a thing and get a shot every few months that kills testosterone. So basically for a year and a half, 2 years, I didn't have any testosterone at all.
Oh, so the medicine you were taking for the prostate
Right.
was actually killing your testosterone.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because testosterone drives the cancer. And boy, is that interesting. I mean, I've done a lot of interesting things in my life, but this was by far the most transformative thing I've ever undergone.
Wow.
Because all of a sudden, I'm not the man that I'm supposed to be, I'm becoming a woman. I have feelings.
Wow.
I have emotions. But what I found is I've become so much more alive. Oh my gosh. So much more alive. So much, in a way, way more creative. And I just everything's electric now. And I think I know why women are the way they are a lot of times.
Wow. Interesting.
But I tell you, this is just the most amazing thing I've ever
Very
encountered.
interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So this is really interesting. It kind of sounds like you're talking about like getting in touch with, goddess energy or
Yes.
like, it's kind of
energy,
divine feminine
Absolutely.
kind of feeling. So what's that like?
Well,
keep going. This is really interesting.
Well, you just, like with people, for example, so much more empathy, so much more connection with the person. And particularly for men. Men, we get together and, hey, what's happening? It's pretty superficial. And testosterone's muscle. I think it makes men strong and big, testosterone, and sexy and all that man stuff. But I don't think it makes you any smarter, frankly. I mean, or more creative and alive. Because you just have more feelings for people in terms of people that way. But so everything is just so much more vivid and alive. An idea is more wow than just a cool idea. I think testosterone and muscles kind of even things out, kind of keep you pretty balanced for a male in a way, I guess. Whereas I'm a lot more hysterical. I mean, I cry a lot more and I get really enraged a lot more.
Wow.
Oh, I get pissed off, and I say my language has gotten so much worse.
Curse like a sailor.
What?
He curses like a sailor.
Yeah,
right.
It's incredible. Even when I'm doing a class in Japan and my poor translator, I don't know what the hell they're going to say. But the cool thing also is I don't have any sexual feelings towards women or men or anything, just none. So my relationships with women are so much more honest and clear and pure. It's just a person.
Yeah.
Not a sexy chick, if you know what I mean.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just another wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And I don't have any of that angst around Oh, does she like me? And should we date? Should I ask her? None of that kind of stuff. So much easier.
Much easier. Wow.
Oh, it's
I was going to say that in general, there's been some research on this that looked at the question, who tends to get happier as they age, men or women? And the conclusion was that men tend to be happier and women tend to be less happy as they age. And
I think that's true.
sort of, yeah. And so what it came down to is that men, of course, our testosterone levels start to go down.
Yes.
But for women, their estrogen levels go down. And so then they have a relative excess of testosterone that they had not experienced before. And I always like to say that us guys, we've had years and years and years to learn how to tame the dragon. But for them, they're playing with the dragon for the first time. And it's like, it's a dragon.
Therein lies the dance.
Yeah.
That's there. Wow, that's so true.
Yeah. Shakti's playing with some Shiva now, and it's a lot of work.
It does go back to hormones, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But
doing
now
a
my
two-step.
testosterone's coming back because I'm finished
okay.
the therapy.
Okay.
But I'm wondering what it's going to do now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Am I reverting back to something that I don't know? I can't even remember what that was.
I think you'll be able to maintain it and bring it with you, and then that way you'll be
that's
both.
Yeah, all
That's-
the wisdom you've gained, you can
That is the plan.
Yeah, I think you'll be
That
both.
is the plan.
integrate.
Yeah. That's a fun question for me to even ask the cards. One the thing about cards is it's an insight tool. It's a thinking tool. People use it just so weird. It just makes me crazy. I have a hard time with the tarot world, frankly, because they just think of it in this woo-woo kind of way. When I just use it, I want to have a different take on whatever. Pick a card.
What started your journey into the cards specifically?
Oh, boy. Yeah, because, when I was a kid, I hated card games.
You did.
Oh, I hated them. I hated, those games, Fish
Rummy,
or
Pit,
Rummy,
yeah,
Canasta
poker.
or whatever.
Right,
But
yeah, all that.
I've never learned poker.
Right.
And bridge, forget it. I'm not going to, but here I am, the card guy.
Yeah.
The guy that used card man.
Captain Pick a Card.
Pick a card. So weird. Well, there's always the short story and the long story, and I'll give you kind of the middle story.
Okay.
The middle story is after college, I went ahead and got a Ph.D. in political science at Columbia, which is a really good school. And this is the early 70s, and so I immediately just went to Africa. I had to get the hell out of everywhere and just travel and so on. Kind of blew up my degree. But coming out of Africa 9 months after I got my doctorate, I got a job teaching in political science in the American University in Cairo, in Egypt.
Wow.
That was another experience. And then I got right after that another professor job teaching in Beirut, in Lebanon, before the war there. I've always kind of missed. I should have been a CIA spy.
I was just
really.
going to say that. I was like, okay, political science PhD goes to Egypt,
All these-
Beirut.
What I didn't know, I got a master's degree.
Conveniently right before the war breaks out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Just happened to be.
Just happened to be there.
It's remarkable because I had a master's in the School of International Affairs at Columbia. That's a spook school. I did not even know that.
I thought it was for bored housewives and husbands.
But anyway, it was a CIA school, apparently, and I had no clue until years later when some of my classmates wrote books about being CIA people in Vietnam or whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
wow.
So I'm teaching in Beirut and voted Professor of the Year. I had my beard, trinkets, and I was a major hippie.
All right.
Finally, I could be hippie and cool and stuff.
Yeah.
And but my intuition, this voice kept nagging me, and I'd learned transcendental meditation. I did my 20 minutes thing with mantra, and that was cool. But my intuition said, quit and go to India. Quit and go to India. And I said, oh, God, this is not a very practical idea. I finally got him a job.
Such a hippie thing to say, though.
Totally.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
yeah. Come on.
The Beatles had done it over land.
Ram
and
Dass
stuff, right?
and-
Exactly.
yeah, all
I mean,
this,
I
yeah.
knew all that. And I'm saying, oh, man. But I followed it. But so what I did, I walked into the president of the university's office one day, and I said, Dr. Markarian, I'm professor of the year. He says, I know that. And I said, well, I will stay next year if you double my salary. He laughed. He thought that was the biggest joke I've ever heard, in academia. So he said no, of course. So that meant I was going to India,
Nice.
which was
Yeah.
great. I mean, that was a win-win situation. Right?
Yeah.
So what the hell? All right. So I go to India,
And what year was this?
74.
Okay.
It's a little bit back then.
Yeah, I think
right?
I was 1.
Yeah, I was 3.
You were what?
I was 1. Yeah.
You were 1 year old.
Yeah. Just to put things into perspective.
I get
I
it.
was- yeah.
So I'm in India, and I get hepatitis. Actually, in Nepal at this point, and I almost get hepatitis pretty quickly. And you get all yellow, and you can't do anything. And I'm lying around, and I go, "Oh my God, I'm going to die here," in downtown Kathmandu. And but some guy shows up at this little bed and breakfast place I was staying at. He says, "There's a meditation course going on for Westerners in a Tibetan Buddhist monastery. You want to come?" And I said, hell yes, I'm coming. I need something. I'm just sitting around and lying around anyway. I might as well do that. Sounds cool. So I went in 30 days of golden Buddha gold light meditations and all of that. And that changed my life.
Wow.
I walked out of there with no hepatitis and no more political science. I was on the path, on the enlightenment path. But you need to pay the rent still, just because you're, so eventually when I got back to the San Francisco Bay Area, a year or two later after that, whatever, I got a job teaching. But I had some colleagues who read the cards. And I said, what the hell? I'll have a reading one day from my colleague. And I loved it.
Do you remember the deck?
Yeah, it was the Crowley deck. The
Oh,
thought deck.
I knew it. I pictured that in
Really?
my head. I'm
You
like,
saw-
it's got to be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a weight rider guy.
Well, yeah, it's just much more complex and
It's way-
interesting
yeah.
and way more layered. And I
Oh,
thought,
totally.
if
And
anything's
the
going
art
to catch
is
your attention, it's going to be
spectacular. The art
something
is
with some
beautiful.
depth to it.
The art is beautiful, yeah. And that was the
It's
deck.
well thought out, too.
Yeah, totally.
Archaic, but really,
it's archaic,
really
but it's
interesting.
spectacular.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Respect.
But right, so I just took off and never looked back. And everybody thought I was nuts when I went into going to become a tarot reader. There being a Dr. James, professor of poli-sci or whatever. And I thought, but to follow your intuition takes a lot of belief and a lot of courage.
and cojones.
And cojones, yes. I had cojones back then. I still have them. But the ABCs of intuition: be aware of the feeling, or the idea of B, believe it, and C, have the courage to follow it. And I did have the courage to
Awareness, belief, and courage.
follow it. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And most of the time we're not even aware of it, or sort of, because we're so thoughtful. We're in our idea realm. And the intuition, which is really my favorite thing I ever teach. I have a good little book called Intuition at Work. It's a nice little hardback even. Intuition is hardwired into our brain. It's in the emotional part of the forebrain,
Okay. Yeah.
in the feeling part of the forebrain.
Yeah.
So it's not in the analytical thinking and all that. So it's that little oomph, that little feeling. But most of the time we don't trust it. And it's, so what? And a lot of times intuition will tell you what to do, but not why. And if the brain doesn't like that, I want to know why I'm going to go to India and get hepatitis.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I want to know why.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, because if the answer was because you had to get hepatitis, then that'd be hard to follow through with that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If I hadn't known why,
Yeah.
I would have not probably gone. Yeah. So that's my story.
That's
so
a
far.
great point that you just made, though. I want to just kind of come back
Yeah.
to that because it's profound. If you had known why at the time when you wanted to know why,
If you had
might
been able
not
to
have done
predict
it.
that, preview that.
Yeah, you probably would have not done that because at the time you didn't have a context or an experience to teach you that was important. So your value system hadn't aligned yet for
Right.
to support the thing you were going to do.
Right.
and the values realign when you go through the experience and have the ups and downs and the challenges and the transformations and the realizations and all that, and the confirmation that you did what you did.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your value system has realigned at a deeper level. And now when you say why, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Now.
But if you knew why before, you didn't have the context, you wouldn't be able to
I would have done it,
trust
and that would have changed history, or my history.
And that is such a, I think, universally experienced thing for people. Like, you know.
What's also interesting for me is that the 2 times I've gotten really sick with the prostate cancer and with the hepatitis have been the greatest things that have ever happened to me.
Wow.
Very interesting. What do you attribute that to? I mean, did you have a feeling for, why that happened in your case?
Well, it had to happen for me to get on my track.
Yeah.
But how would I have known that? And I wouldn't have selected that. And
Yeah.
I think in the tarot, and even in Voyager, there's a card called the Tower. The Tower card is the most dramatic card where all hell breaks loose, like war or mass plague, or just horrific things. But that's the greatest change card in the deck. And that's revolution.
Yeah.
That is revolution. And my sicknesses, whether it's hepatitis or prostate, were Tower re-experience. But I always know they are opportunities if you see it that way.
Do you think all these years of you thinking this way, like with the cards and making, sort of weaving a positive, thoughtful story out of images. Do you think that was, in a way, training so that when something happened in your body, you had all these years of experience of learning how to interpret that in a different way?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Not initially with the hepatitis thing, but certainly with the prostate cancer. I knew that was my tower.
Sure.
And I knew, okay, but the card that comes right after the tower is the star. The luminant light of that, from which, there you are, that's Kuan Yin, the star.
Very nice.
Tower is 16, star is 17. And that, it's a card of enlightenment. It's a card of living your purpose and shining your light and sharing it with the world.
Bigger picture.
Totally. But it comes out of that.
Wow.
Crash.
Question that I wanted to ask you is, Carlos and I and Oliver, here on the show, we always talk about being open-minded skeptics.
Okay.
That we remain open-minded and we use critical thinking about things. So I think it might be neat to address some of the fears and criticisms that people have about things like this.
Well, maybe I should just talk about one particular card, which is the devil.
Okay. Yeah,
that's a good one to start with,
Yeah. Because people, again, some fundamentalists think I'm the devil because I play with these cards. You know? But in Voyager, when I had to make the devil card, I'm not going Christian on this. I'm going before Christianity to the Greeks and to their mythologies and their archetypes and their gods and goddesses. And it was Pan, the Dionysian god, which is, there's Apollo and Dionysius, who are the right and left brains, and Apollo is the critical thinker in us, and we need that. But the Dionysian is, let's party.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate. Now that we've made the wine, let's drink it.
Right.
Kind of thing. That's the devil in Voyager. It's the celebration. It's the dancer. It's sensual. It's sexy. It's artistic. It's wild in that sense.
Yeah. Not evil.
Not at all
Primal.
evil.
It's primal.
So
Yeah.
I love this card. This is like being creative in your own weird way. And it's the goat, the Capricorn goat. It's like the wild goat that climbs to the top of the mountain your own freaking weird way.
Right. And
Goats are weird.
Yeah, when you think of goats, they make you smile. They're so crazy and wild and weird.
Oh, they are wild and weird.
They're just so
Today, GOAT stands for greatest of all time.
That's true.
In sports,
I
they
just
say
learned
And,
something.
Call
and
somebody
Grand
the
Architect of the Universe.
Grand Architect of the
Go out
Universe.
Go to.
What was your question again? I don't know, but
Yeah. I was asking about maybe some of the myths or fears that people have surrounding these kinds of things.
well, if they pick a card, they that's it. That's the truth, and that's what's going to happen in the future.
Oh, yeah.
The total belief in the card.
Right.
I don't. It still happen. It still happens a lot. I mean, people they don't. They're not taking responsibility for themselves. They're in this deterministic mindset. Who fulfills the prophecy? We do, not some piece of paper. But people still believe that. But if you believe it, then hey, that could happen, kind of stuff. So most of my life with the tarot is getting people out of that way of thinking. But because when I have somebody comes to me for a reading, they say, and I ask them, I say, well, tell me about yourself. And they say, no. You're supposed to know this. You're psychic. You're supposed to know this. And I'm like, oh my God, really? I know this. I know everything about you. Forget it. I mean, people really believe that some others have these extraordinary abilities to predict your future and read your mind and all of that. That's insane to me. But then the most difficult question is, so how does it work? Ooh, and then I give them the most unsatisfying answer of all. I said, well, it's just a mystery, We don't know. So accept it. Move on. Pick a card. Kind of a thing. Let's see. They don't like that at all. I mean, we can give them big words, psi power, synchronicity, which, all that kind of stuff, which, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I love this interpretation that you sort of preach here, that it's I kind of get the idea from you that this is fun and this is about being insightful. And this is about just, stop and see that there's something in you that is revealed because you're interpreting a card. Not that the card has magic that it's pointing out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's seeing yourself. It's a way of seeing. It's a reflection.
Yeah.
Tool.
Yeah. You know what reminds me of? Recently, some of us got together. We had watched a documentary.
A Trip of Compassion.
A Trip of Compassion. Yeah,
Really?
it was a documentary about research done in Israel using MDMA therapy.
Oh, yeah.
And what comes to mind as we're having this conversation is there was a scene when one of the gentlemen who was in the trial started talking about a painting that was on the wall. And when the MDMA got into his system and he started to think differently, he started talking about how interesting this picture was and how earlier when he was looking at it, he was giving these reasons as to how he was interpreting the painting and how it kept coming back to all the difficulties and pain he was having in his life. But in a different state of mind, he looked at it as something different. He looked at it as a horse. And it had such a different meaning. And then him and the therapist started talking about how, and horses are a symbol for freedom. And he talked about how he used to ride horses and he'd like to ride horses again. And so the funny thing about it is there any magic in that painting? It's just a painting. It's just a piece of art, right? But the magic was in him. He saw the piece of art and the art was able to stir something in him and get him to come to some conclusions about himself that were deeply healing. And there's undeniable power in that moment. He would have found something in that state of mind, but it just so happened that particular painting was right there and it did the trick.
It is really so true. I've gotten into a lot of photography now of what I call the mud people. The mud people. And the mud people live in the mud. And I do a lot of photographs of mud puddles and me in the mud puddles and stuff. And it is wild.
Huh.
I mean, it's like an MDMA experience.
Yeah.
Because it ain't
in the mud.
just mud. I mean, there is a whole world going on in there.
Okay.
And for me, artistically, it's spectacular. Traveling itself is a trip. Well, duh.
Yeah. It's even called that. Yeah.
I mean, just traveling to you guys' place here, your studio / home /
library
/ playground / home is it's a trip.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are amazing.
Well, thank
amazing.
you. Thank you.
Well, one of the things I find amazing about you, one of the reasons why I approached you to come to the show is because you make magic happen spontaneously, and I really admire that. I think I mentioned to you briefly when we spoke that I like the way you lean into the randomness of a situation, not exactly knowing where you're headed per se, but getting a long view of where you want to go, and then just kind of adapting. Like I've seen the way you roll with it when people yell things out to you, when you're giving a talk, and you're just kind of just adjusting in the moment. And I'm not sure if you lose your place or never lose your place, or maybe you didn't have a place, but somehow you don't lose track. Somehow you just kind of keep weaving the experience, and it makes it fun for everybody.
Well, thank you for that. And I'm a real believer in impromptu theater and spontaneity. I mean, that's where it's at, really. But you have to believe and have courage.
ABC.
ABC, back to the
Have
ABC.
awareness, have belief, have courage.
Yeah. But when I make a presentation, I always have an outline. I always know where I want to go. But now I have my safety net, so I can be spontaneous. I can go places because I can always find my way back.
Yeah. Okay.
Always.
You're in flow state.
Yeah, it is a flow state.
But because you're competent at what it is that you're describing, you can now riff. You can now expand, explore, flow without losing state, because you don't know. You don't have to remember what it is. It's there.
Right.
You have the pattern.
Right. And I like that word, remember. I mean, I just, that's what Plato said. The way to enlightenment is to remember who you are. Remember who you are. And that's, again, why I like the cards. It takes us to who we really are. It breaks us free of our social role that I am whoever. And really, but I'm also the magician and the fool child.
Yeah.
And the star. And the emperor, and the teacher, and the lover. I mean, these are all qualities. So it really brings this multidimensionality of us out into the world. But people don't understand that a lot. I'm a marketing nightmare. As I live in the hyphen. Yeah, I do this and.
You live in the hyphen.
And it's kind of like, well, you're a hyphenated cat. Now, how the hell are we going to sell you?
Right. Well, they have to sell all 78 of you, right?
Right. But what really blows the magic of, wow, how does this mystery work? Back to that question we kind of touched upon. One of the things I say is, if you stay away from prediction, just any card you pick will always indicate an aspect of who you are. It's universal psychology. Everybody's all these cards all of the time. So it can never be wrong.
It's sort of like you watch a great movie and you take some life lesson from the movie that helps you in your own life. This is like that. It's like it's a wonderful piece of art that causes you to reflect and go, I've forgotten a piece of myself, and this movie helped me remember. Oh, really? And this card helped me remember.
Movies have such power.
Yeah.
They do have such power. And I'll do a lot of the cards face up. I mean, I don't need to pick them. Like if I know I'm doing something today and I need a certain quality or skill, I'll just go find that card. I know it as it and put it up because it's the power of the picture. The power of the picture
becomes a representation of your intention for the day.
Exactly. Kind of a card a day keeps the therapist away.
There you go.
But sometimes I just do it face up. And some people are like, that's crazy. And no, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Use it however you want to use it.
Yeah. It's like I'm wearing my Bruce Lee shirt today because I need a little Bruce Lee in my life.
Well, that's, that's your first intuition of the day is what to wear. Or what color to wear. That's intuition as a practice is pay attention to that first thing you're going to pick to wear today. Actually, you could look, this room is a great tarot right here. This is a deck. This is a deck. So you could have any question, any insight you want, find one painting or one book or one anything, color or anything here, and like a card, and what does that tell you?
Right.
What does that tell you? And with the cards, because we do like to look at the future. But it's so, if you want to ask about what's the future of even your authenticity of this, for example, or yourself, or whatever, anything about the future, yes, pick a card for the possible future. Yeah, that could happen.
Possible future.
Possible
Yeah.
future. That
Wow.
could happen.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's a good
and
idea,
if you
possible
like
future.
that future card, then do something to make it happen.
Right. Take inspiration from it.
Absolutely. Take
Build towards
action
it.
on it.
Yeah.
Come on. We fulfill the prophecy. And
Vision
if you
board
don't
it.
like it, say no.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But then you have to change that. Well, what's my behavior? How am I going to do that? And then, in some cases, people pick a negative card for the future. So we get into it. They don't like it. So what are we going to do to stop that or deter that or transform that, basically? We deal with that. Then they can pick another card. Because we always want to be positive here.
Yeah.
But if they pick 3 negative cards in a row, I have a 3-strike policy.
Maybe we should choose a card for a potential future of the Authenticity Show.
Sure.
Could we try that? Yeah.
Okay. Shuffle them up.
Okay. Well, here we go.
And don't try and pick the best card. Pick the right card.
Okay.
Pick the right card.
We'll pick
the potential
the right
future
card.
of authenticity.
Yeah. I mean, since we're on the
Let
topic.
me ask you this.
Yeah.
Do you have an actual vision of the future? Do you have a
Yes.
Which is what to?
Well, for one thing, build our listenership slowly and steadily with people that are authentic. So not artificial means, but genuine listeners. People who are interested, who are true tribe members. They and we would like to have this. Maybe get onto something like NPR or something that has thoughtful
Right.
shows and whatnot. So that more people can hear about it,
That.
Yeah.
and we can continue to explore the way we have been,
Right.
continuing to invite guests and
Sure. Oh, yeah. No, when you dive deep like this, I love the diving deep thing now. Nobody used to dive or dive deep. It's about fly high. It's always about, your higher self. What about your
Sure.
deeper self?
yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. What about the authenticity? What about the potential future, the possible future? One card. Don't make a mistake, please.
No mistakes.
No mistakes.
Make no mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think that's
Okay.
the one. Lovers.
The lovers. So that's the word. It's a major archetype card. It's a type of person who's very gifted at connecting, relating, whether it's in a love relationship or a business partnership. So the great value of authenticity is your partnership, you guys. And that's uncommon, I think. Really uncommon. And it's a Gemini card, so it's being able to hear and engage a variety and diversity of views here. But the lovers is about really being able to connect with people. I mean, that is a heck of a business card because it's ability to really touch people with your show and do what you can do. So, I mean, I love that. I really do love that card. Matter of fact, if there's only one card in the deck I had to have as my life, that would be my life card because it's basically seeing you and everything in the world.
Wow.
The lovers, it's kind of the tantra of living and engaging everything in the world. There's nothing we don't touch, including the shadow side of us and everything and everybody. So it's an ultimate expression. And what's your card? This is Satch.
Logic, 4 of crystals.
Wow. Logic, 4 of crystals. That's a number 4 card. So if you know the map, the Voyager map, 4 is the number of the Emperor, who is by far the most successful professional archetype, the best, greatest business person in the deck, the Emperor.
Nice job, Satch.
Thank you.
Yeah, and based on the ability, logic, to plan, to have a map, an organization, a business plan, something to go by. That's your base. And then the lovers is I'm going to reach out and take that plan into action in the world. Let me pick a card for this.
Yes.
Let me pick a card. Authenticity. Okay. So your card is fulfillment.
Wow.
This is a great wine card. This is really good wine. It's 9 full cups of emotion. Boy, a lot of cups have come out in this day. It's called fulfillment, and it's number 9.
That's cute.
9.
Fulfill my cups.
Yeah, fill it up and love it and enjoy it and complete it. I mean, number 9 is completion. It's the most whole number of all of our numbering systems. It's whole, it's integrated, it's complete. I won't go the whole 9 yards. So you want to strive for that. You don't want to leave that vision just dangling there. It's like it's like a fine wine. You go, I mean, come on, man, let's go for that.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate that. Let's complete that. It's doable here.
Beautiful.
It is
Nice.
beautiful.
That's
What I
great.
love is you have the logic card is 4 of crystals, which are mental. Crystals are mental. Cups, 9 of cups, fulfillment is emotions, heart. So you've got the head and the heart. The head is smart and the heart is motivated. And the lovers is the ability to keep it all together and balance everything inside of you and with the world around you. There. It's a great reading.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's it's got a lot of hopeful imagery in there.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel good about that.
Me too.
We'll make
I
it
feel
happen
great
now.
about
I'm expecting great things to happen here.
it. All right.
As are we.
All right. Beautiful.
Good things are flowing
Yeah.
all around.
Yeah.
Since this is the primary way that I know you, other than through the IHF.
The International Hypnosis Federation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Would you say that like primarily what you do in the world right now is teach people about this tarot, or is it also a lot of other stuff?
Well, I have other decks, so I'm big into just cards and symbols, decks of cards for empowering people, and I have a variety of different decks.
Okay.
So, but they're all maps. They're all road maps, and I mean, I even go back to junior high school or school. I love making maps, drawing maps. Mm-hmm. Just something about mapping.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And I'm the Voyager, and I just helping people navigate their lives, with this process. There. What was the question again?
Well, just you're actually answering it.
Yeah,
I was just kind of asking, like, what else do you do that's related to this that you share often? Because I know you mainly through Voyager,
Right.
And is this your favorite deck, or is it a favorite?
Well,
Do you have one that's more favorite to you?
Well, I mean, I really love all my nature work.
Okay, with the animals and all that?
Sustainability, resilience, following the principles of nature. I mean,
Okay.
nature is my ultimate teacher. But in today's world, I mean, I love to teach. I mean, I'm an edutainer. People learn best when they're having fun
Yeah.
and are more creative and everything like that. But I find most people want readings. They don't want to have to learn how to do it themselves.
Just tell me.
Just tell me.
Just tell me, James.
Just tell me. God,
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's like, don't you want to be your own oracle? That's one of my classes is be your own oracle.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
That is where it's at. That's teaching a person how to fish.
Exactly. That we go back to the Bible on that one, and it's so true. But so what? Just tell me. And I don't tell. I'm not like I said. You could do this, but to make this happen, you have to based on the cards. I mean, I basically give them a plan. It's more coaching than it is kind of reading stuff. But teaching is where it's at completely.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, James, thanks again. It was lovely having you here.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
It was worth the drive all the way down here to wherever I am.
The city of
But
Orange.
it's so cool to go into the adventure. Life is adventure.
It is.
And part of me says, oh, God, I'm driving down 405 and it's 6 o'clock, there's traffic and rah, 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 and get, crotchety and rah, rah, rah.
Yeah.
But then wait a minute, it's an adventure. It's an adventure. I think if we all had that attitude, that artitude, that it is all art, it is all adventure. Wow.
Yeah.
God, life is exciting, huh?
Nicely done. Yeah.
Now it's an adventure getting home.
Yeah.
Now
Is
you're
that
probably
adventure
happy
too?
you had a little bit of caffeine.
Oh, that's great. This is
keep you
such
sharp.
a fun time, you guys. I appreciate it so much.
It's been great.
You've been listening to The Authenticity Show with your hosts, Carlos Casados and Satch Purcell. Very special thanks to our guest, James Wanless. See? I told you it was going to be interesting. This show is produced by myself, Oliver Altine. I also wrote the theme song, which you're listening to right now, and the interstitial song for this episode was a little tune I'm working on called Old Toby, which is a Tolkien reference. Please remember to subscribe to The Authenticity Show wherever you get your podcasts. Find us on social media, leave us a comment, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. And you can find our website at authenticityshow.com. Thanks for listening, and have an authentic day.